stay in within yourself and use the world to your advantage. The world is your mirror, you use it to your advantage. Don't become a victim of the world. As an awakened being, we know what man. Because I mean, we are weak. We not always remember, so we are weak. Sometimes we forget.
Yes, sir, T. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir, T.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. You know, we're live again. Another sunny Sunday on the One Great I Am Awakening. We just finished listening to one of the most, I don't know even what to say, one of the most moving and truthful song ever written, you know? Death and hell have no
Death and
fear.
hell have no fear. I tell you the funniest thing about that song, you know, Sir Chris. When I finish writing the song, I listen back to it for the first time. And I said, no man, you can't release this on people here. People go afraid. even though I'm literally telling them, don't be afraid. You know? Right now, if you play that song beside some people, they go afraid because they must say this man is talking against hell. And hell are the big boss, you know. It's just a crazy thing to really think of it. That the very thing that you are telling people them not to do, immediately you know that's exactly the way to them. Them are gonna be afraid. Them are afraid of something.
A real talk, man.
Them are afraid. That's why even at the first few years, right? At the first few years, Chris.
Yeah, man.
That's why if you notice, not even you, I'm not saying it to. If you make not even you hear it, I have to keep that one close to my chest, see time being.
Right.
Because the people them go afraid. You know, but
go on, talk
right here at the one,
yeah,
but right here at the One Great I Am now, we know that our people here, we know that these people have already scaled the fence there. You already get over the fear of the world death and the world health thing. Because those are the two big guns, you know. Those are the two big threats. If you find yourself at a place where you don't fear death and you don't fear hell, then what are you gonna fear? And the man who is fearless is God. Florence Scovel, you know, it in one of her books, she have a statement in there where she said, man is God afraid. Man is God afraid. Meaning man is exactly what God would be if God was afraid. The only thing that stops man from being fully God is because man is afraid. And there's nothing that man fear like how man fear death. And here, as a matter of fact, if them rub out them two things out of the Bible, if them erase them two things out of the take them two things off of the ballot, and the church will be empty this morning. If people are guaranteed that they will not die and go to hell, then people, that's what them use and trick and catch all of the people, and it's the fear of death and hell. Well, we don't want no more of that. We don't want no more of that.
They used to afraid like
like what? we are here if we do them thing, yeah. Put it out there in a writing, in a book, in a books. G Mac having book about to be released. Yeah. We'll put it out in a them thing they have to go out in a book, them thing they have to depend on the One Great I Am, them thing you have to go out in the music, make people them know say, don't be afraid of these things. You are the one who have to cripple yourself with fear.
All in the
mind. Fear in something that all in the mind. It's all in the mind, my friend. So, and remember to forget. In all things, remember to forget. You have a bad moment. The only thing that can save you from repeating that bad moment is to forget it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so remember to forget. It's very important. That's your launching space where you start over. Each time when you have to reboot and start over. I just forget you have to forget and start over.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you started to begin with. You started by being forgetting. We all arrive forget. Yeah, man. That's the song when you the masks. We all arrive forgetting. No man remember. Yeah, so forgetting is a natural part of our existence.
Mm-hmm.
And the best form of forgetting is when you deliberately forget.
Well, that's the sin, you know, to forget. That's why they say we're born in that sin. We're born in forgetfulness. Now, they're saying that it's not a moral act or immoral act, I should say.
No.
Yeah, that's that?
No, it's not that.
Mm-mm.
Anyways, I just arrived at the house here to deal with that thing. So let's see if how fast we can deal with this and come back and board with you guys. All right.
All right, Sir T.
Go on with it, circus.
Yeah, man. All right, my fellow Elohim, fellow Eternals. Yes, welcome back to another sunny Sunday of the one great I am, you know. That was one of Surt's newest song, one of Surt's newest tune, and I love it. It's called Death and Hell. Have no fear of either of those cousins, or brothers or whatever you want to call them. I have no fear about that. You understand? Um, it's hard for some people to swallow, like Sir T just said, because that's the first thing we learn coming into this world after being born is your parents do everything to make sure that you never die, or that you have a full life and stuff like that. So you start learning to be fearful from the very first day you come into this world. Only that you don't have the sense as of yet, but your parents do, which probably explain why every now and then kids, who are coming to this world, unfortunately, pass on so early because the parents fear of them not making it, you know, come to reality. It's really that simple, your fear of your child not living or not making it for whatever reason. I remember my daughter who was born premature, both of them, but the first one, and that nurse did everything to make me afraid. I was not even awakened yet, but just an innate nature within me, By that time, I had already had multiple miscarriages, um, and premature births anyway. So I probably was maybe somewhat immune to the losses and are, by that time. Um, but she tried to scare me, and it just went through one ear, not the other. Didn't pay it no mind. Or as they say back in the day, no, never mind. Didn't make it bother me at all. Didn't even tell my daughter's mother. I know she don't know. I've never told her this story, what these nurses told me at the time, but I just kept it to myself. But I didn't what do I call it? No, I didn't meds it or ponder, all the foolishness she told me. But I just learned to ignore it at the time, and I just visualized, saw my daughter, you know, living an abundant life, just living, making it out of the hospital. She was there for like 95 days, and her sister, when she was born, she was there for like 100 and, what was it? I think it was 150 days. Her sister was in the hospital for, but a big girls them know when I'm 19, when I'm 20, 25, you understand? So they made it through, but I know it's because of my meds, my outlook on life for them that carried them through. And I didn't have any worry or fear of them having any issues or whatsoever. I was just, very strong that way in my mind. Not looking forward to the worst, but looking forward to the best, And so but know that, since that time, waking up from my sleep, I guess I was waking up at the time, but didn't know it. And I know me just not really worry about them something there. You understand? It's not something you can avoid. So what's the sense of being afraid of something you cannot escape? You should be afraid of something you can escape, but you don't know if you will. You understand? If there was a possibility, then that's the fear. That's when fear makes sense because you don't know if you will, but you've seen or heard of or documented examples of people who who never experienced that death, and who never went to hell and all this foolishness. So, but the possibility exists. So that would make sense to fear it. Well, you can't fear something you can't escape. It's absolute madness. Life is for living. So when you come here, you just live. You understand? And you leave a legacy behind, such as Neville did, such as Bob Marley did, such as Marcus Garvey did, Malcolm X, you know, all these great teachers who were before us, Florence Skin, who Surtees mentioned, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Wayne Dyer, all these guys left us gems to, keep us awake or wake us up, either way. And but the first gem that was left before us, for us, and by us, believe it or not, is the Bible. We are the ones who wrote the Bible. We being consciousness. You understand? We being awareness itself, wrote itself a reminder. Hence the song that Surtees talked about earlier, to remember to forget. Meaning that when we came here in the sense of forgetfulness. We were told to remember, we were told to forget to remember when we came here. Forget to remember when you go to earth, which is hell. This is the hell, where you place the sole of your feet, the heel. That's why your soul is in hell. You understand? When you come here, your feet touches this ground, the heel, H-E-L-L, H-E-E-L, that's the hell that we're in. This planet, this earth. You understand? So we're here and we are told to remember, to forget to remember who we are when you come here. That's how you're going to play this game. You have to forget who you are. You understand? You have to forget to remember that you are God, that you are Christ, that you are consciousness, awareness. The thing you see in the mirror, that's who you are being. You don't know anything else about no consciousness or the mind and all this stuff. You understand? You only know the firstborn, the first person you see in the mirror. That's you. That's you who has forgot to remember. Okay? But there will come a time when you will remember to forget who you are being. That is the second instruction you're given. The first instruction is forget to remember. The second is remember to forget. In the return. That's how you return back to yourself. You understand? And that is you ascending, feet off the ground, not literally, but spiritually. Okay? That is your spiritual rebirth, going back to yourself. All right? And so that song that Surtees did, remember to forget, is to forget that you are not the man or the woman or the person that you see in the mirror, regardless of your form or look or stature in life. You're only playing a part. It's a movie. It's a play. It's the Matrix playing tricks on your mind. Eventually, you will come to that reality, that truth reveal, as Surtees say, and you start making the journey back. And as you're making the journey back, you are telling those who have ears to hear and those who will listen. You start to spread the message, the gospel, the good news to the ones who are tired of, the misconstruction of the message that we've been given out of the book itself. It was misconstrued. Imagine that. Truth made to be a lie. That is the ultimate deception. You understand? That is almost like you living with your family and you are told that you were adopted. You never know, say, that was your parents for real. You're living a lie, but you're living within the truth. You just don't know it until it's revealed unto you, you know? And so that's really how this world is operating. Um, but slowly but surely, we must all make the return one at a time. Not everyone at the same time as we were told by pastors. Nonsense. Everybody never born the same day, same year, and everybody cannot um, return, all at the same time either. It doesn't work like that. Everybody wake up at different time. Everybody born at different times. Everybody wake up at different times. I just say it go. But all must return. Can't escape it. So that is the part that they have misconstrued. But as I said, we wrote the book. We just don't remember. We gave ourselves a reminder to remember to forget who we are right now in the flesh and to remember that we are spirit, that we are God. We are the Elohim, the one playing these many parts, or these many parts who's played by the one. All right. So that said, guys, Sir T say he's busy with work and everything. So but he'll get back to us as soon as possible. He's at the location. So he should be back on the road momentarily. Don't know how long. But the show must go on. So I have a topic for you guys today. Rather interesting one. We're going to talk about the temple, the temple of the living God. Okay, that's what we want to talk about, the temple of the living God. And today's title is, normally you are told that you are the temple of the living God, you being in this sense, because it's interchangeable, you, the body, the flesh, the the living God, the part of you that is moving. But I kind of reworded it to, you are the life-giving spirit within this temple, not made by hand. All right. As scripture has told us, that God dwells within the temple, not made by hand. What is it saying? It was not built with bricks and mortar that we were told by our pastors and evangelists and all these people. Okay. But today you're going to learn from the scripture itself, not my words, but just from scripture itself, what these things, the instructions, what they were, and what they mean and stuff like that. I'm going to be reading again from the 5 lessons. So I got this story from the 5 lesson book. So I'm going to be reading, a bit of that to capture what we're going to talk about today. It's a very interesting story, very, very revealing story about this so-called temple slash tabernacle, which is what it is, one of the names mentioned in scripture, primarily in the Old Testament, but it's the same, tabernacle, temple, whatever, place of worship. So we're going to talk about that today. So you are the life-giving spirit of within this temple, not made by hands. All right, not made by hands. So let's take a listen to. It's a very short from Neville. Just going to give us a quick instruction. I think this is it. Like that. Yeah. The perfect blueprint. So I'm just going to play it maybe a couple of times and then come back and start reading this from this book, and then we're going to elaborate on it. Our findings as such. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Let's take a listen.
Imagine two architects building a great temple. The first is a man of the world. He changes his blueprint with every shift in the price of stone, every criticism from a passerby, every gathering of storm clouds. His every action is a reaction to circumstance. And in the end, he builds a compromised, chaotic structure that is a monument to his doubts. The second architect is a master of the law. He creates a perfect blueprint in his mind and holds to it with an iron will. When prices rise, he assumes the funds are his. When critics mock, he listens only to the inner symphony of his completed work. He is not ruled by his materials. He commands his materials to obey his vision, and his temple rises, a perfect physical manifestation of the blueprint he held faithfully in his imagination. The question is not whether you are an architect of your life. You are always building. The only question is whether you are building from a state of reaction or a state of creation. To learn the 5 great disciplines of the master architect and to build the life of your dreams, I invite you to the full master class. The link is in the description. Subscribe and begin construction.
So I tell you how it works.
Imagine two architects building a great temple. The first is a man of the world. He changes his blueprint with every shift in the price of stone, every criticism from a passerby, every gathering of storm clouds. His every action is a reaction to circumstance. And in the end, he builds a compromised, chaotic structure that is a monument to his doubts. The second architect is a master of the law. He creates a perfect blueprint in his mind and holds to it with an iron will. When prices rise, he assumes the funds are his. When critics mock, he listens only to the inner symphony of his completed work. He is not ruled by his materials. He commands his materials to obey his vision, and his temple rises, a perfect physical manifestation of the blueprint he held faithfully in his imagination. The question is not whether you are an architect of your life. You are always building. The only question is whether you are building from a state of reaction or a state of creation. To learn the 5 great disciplines of the master architect and to build the life of your dreams, I invite you to the full master class. The link is in the description. Imagine two architects building a great temple. The first is a man of the world. He changes his blueprint with every shift in the price of stone, every criticism from a passerby, every gathering of storm clouds. His every action is a reaction to circumstance. And in the end, he builds a compromised, chaotic structure that is a monument to his doubts. The second architect is a master of the law. He creates a perfect blueprint in his mind and holds to it with an iron will. When prices rise, he assumes the funds are his. When critics mock, he listens only to the inner symphony of his completed work. He is not ruled by his materials. He commands his materials to obey his vision, and his temple rises, a perfect physical manifestation of the blueprint he held faithfully in his imagination. The question is not whether you are an architect of your life. You are always building. The only question is whether you are building from a state of reaction or a state of creation. To learn the 5 great disciplines.
All right. So we're back. So let's break down that clip real quickly, and then I'm going to get into the reading. But as you heard there, he talks about 2 architects constructing a temple. The first architect is man, the flesh, constructing oh, sorry, that one. Hold on, guys. So that's the first architect, you, the man in the mirror. You are in this sense, you are unaware of the second architect, the second man. You are aware of your five senses: sight, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. You are aware of that. That's what makes you conscious. You're the conscious mind at this point. Because you're conscious of your surroundings, of everything going on. You're having the experience, you know. It's a mind of knowledge. You know what's going on. But you are unaware of the second man, the Lord from above. As you're told, as the man, as you're constructing things, you are concerned with the cost, and it's just a bunch of hardship. You see things for what they appear to be. So if something is difficult to achieve, or something is difficult to access, primarily because of money or availability or whatever the case may be, scarcity, all these different things that may appear at the time to create difficulty. You as man operating as in this flesh state, just using the conscious mind, you know not of the inner man at the time. You don't know that there is a greater side of you, the higher self, that can alleviate, elevate, fix, bring to light, to life, what it is that is not yet apparent in your world, what seems difficult to come, what seems difficult to access, create, whatever the case may be, to manifest. There's a greater side of you that does this very well, very faithful, always faithful, but it's impartial and does not act until you indulge in its involvement. It's not going to do anything for you until you give it the instructions. So all the while you are just operating as flesh, totally unaware that there's a greater being within yourself who is yourself. You are this self, this inner man is who you really are. As we titled our topic today, you are the life-giving spirit within the temple, not made by hands. So our body is the temple not made by hands. We are formed in our parents, by our parents, our mother and father. We were not made by hands. You understand? We were made, within our parents. We came from within our parents. All right. But unbeknownst to us and even our parents, we think what we see is who we are. We don't realize that it's just a vessel, a container, containing within it the second man, the Lord from above. You understand? Who is here to help you navigate through this world, easier than you can do it in your fleshly state or just using the conscious mind. So you're going to find out that, or have found out that the conscious mind, when it tries to build anything without involving the higher self, you struggle. Yes, you're going to get it done or get some things done and whatnot, but it's going to be much, much harder when you're trying to attempt to do it. It's almost like, what's an example? Building, let's just say you're screwing a screw in the wall and you're using your finger to screw it into the wall versus using a screwdriver. Yeah, you might get it into the wall, especially if it's drywall, using your finger, and stuff like that. But the screwdriver is so much better. It is made for that, but it cannot do it itself. You have to use it. You understand? You have to pick it up and use it. It's made for that, but you, in your ignorance or impatience, tries to do it with your hand, tries to do it yourself, not realizing that there's a better side of you that can get it done better, easier, faster, and more certain. But it cannot do it um, by itself or on its own. It needs your permission to go to work. Once it gets the permission, it just goes to work, and it puts you to work, so to speak. It starts to create avenues and circumstances, um, to bring about your desire. But you have to give it the instructions in order to do it. It will not do it itself. Um, so as you're hearing, hold up. As you're hearing, the second man does this very well in terms of architecture. Does not worry about prices, does not worry about difficulty, um, adjusts to any so-called difficulty, hardship whatsoever, and still goes on about its business, creating the thing desired. You know, it does not doubt, does not fear, does not concern itself with anything physical. Its material is spiritual, and it knows that all things that are made by it. And without it, there isn't anything made that is made or that was made. So why would you worry about material or hardship or stress or anything difficult when it is the thing that creates all things to begin with? So if something doesn't exist in this world right now, it creates it. It creates the means to the end. It creates the way because it knows that within itself lies all the possibilities. And all you have to do as the conscious mind is to choose one or choose two or choose however many of those possibilities you desire to achieve or to experience. And once you choose it, it goes about its business giving you what you chose, you know. But you have to be the you I'm talking about here now is the conscious mind, have to be faithful, patience, and trust that, you know, in time, the way and means of how to achieve your desire will present itself, regardless of the circumstances or events that are apparent right now. Do not make those any of your concerns, for within you lies a greater divinity, a greater source that is above all things. Nothing is above it because it's the creator of all things, whether it be chaos or harmony. Everything comes from the second man. You understand? Everything is within it. So you have to give it direction. The same thing that puts you in your issues, the same thing will take you out of it. You understand? That is your consciousness. It puts you into everything. So it is the only thing that can get you out. It is the own reality, And so um we were told that the church, the building that we used to congregate in is the house of worship. But that was just a misconstruction of the truth, because in the Bible itself, no churches ever existed, was ever built. I don't care if it's the Ark of the Covenant, or some Jerusalem they talk about, and all this stuff. None of these places, whether it be the first Jerusalem or the second one that was reconstructed, I don't care what they show on TV or in pictures, videos, or what people have gone to see. These places never existed in the Bible. They only exist in this world. The Bible was written by mystics, which is ourselves, as a reminder for when we get to this level, get to this part in life, we would use it to remember, to forget, remember who we are, remember to forget this body, remember to forget this world, that it is all an illusion, all a projection, is all a movie, just a matrix that we have voluntarily chosen to participate in. But in doing so, we were instructed to remember, to forget, to remember who we are. Okay? To forget means to go before, to go ahead. You understand? That's why I spell it forget. Go in front of your memory. And you're acting as forgetfulness. You're becoming forgetful by the day. You understand? Because you're taking on all these different personalities and you know different abilities and different acts, different things in life and whatever. And the more you take on these things, the more you forget. The quicker you do it, the more you forget. But eventually, your memory, like anything, will start to come back. And so this is where we are today, remembering, who we really are. Um, and it's a shedding. Memory comes back as you start to take off the clothing, all the clothing that you put on over the years. You're removing them. All those former beliefs, the belief in a heaven, that you're going to go to when you die. If you die as a Christian or as a believer or saved. When I know about Muslim and all these other religion, I just know where I grew up, you had to die as a Christian, as a believer, and saved. Everybody else have their own different things that concern them, based on where they go after death, right? So you have to you have to take off these clothing that you wore over the years. The belief there's a hell to go to after death if you didn't die in Christ. If you didn't die as a Christian or a slave, if you die as a Muslim, you're gonna go to hell. If you die as a Buddhist, you're gonna go to hell. If you die, sometime even in the Christian world, if you die as a Seventh-day Adventist, you're not going to hell. You have to die as a Jehovah's Witness and vice versa. So all these foolishness that we endured over the years, that even within the Christianity itself, you have to be very careful as to which church you go, because all of them right, none of them are wrong. And if they're all right, that means they must find the others wrong, right? If everybody's right, then they see the others as wrong. So who is right? So if you don't go to the right church and you end up dead and not in the right church and not saved, dog, nyam your supper. Okay? These are the things that you have to undo from your mind, from your consciousness. These are just old garments, okay, that you've been wearing all these years, and you have to undo them, okay? They're all psychological. They're not physical. They're all psychological. So it's easy to remove, in a sense, okay? Because all you have to do is turn away your attention from them and they die, okay? Because your attention is what keeps them alive. And the minute you take your attention off them, you have to put your attention on something to replace it, which is the return, which is the truth. Truth reveal that you are God. No matter nobody tell you anything else other than that. You are not this body, you are not this flesh. I don't care who it is. Okay? Don't let nobody fool you. We've been fooled long enough. All right? All of us here is this one consciousness whom we have called God. There are different descriptions and whatnot that we've used over the years in many different cultures to call this one thing. It is of no consequence what you call it. Some people call water water, some call it agua, you know. What is the difference? Or whatever language it's in. Even in Hebrew, it's a totally different language or pronunciation. But they might talk about the same thing. You understand? So, but we have misconstrued the truth, and everybody has claimed to have the right answer. And until we start to see everything as one, everyone as one, regardless of your expression, man, animal, beast, or this earth itself, the universe, every one of us, everything is one, playing many different parts within the oneness of all that you see. You understand? So until we start to see that, we will continue to die in our sins, as scripture say. So you could be a Christian, you could be a Protestant, you could be whatever, a Buddhist, you name it. If you do not come to this realization, it makes no sense what church you're serving in and what God you serve, because you're still seeing yourself as better than another. You're still seeing yourself as the one that has the only religion, the only true religion. You understand? Or you see yourself as the God's people, whether you're black or white or whatever you see yourself as, or we are God's people. And until you see everyone as not God's people, but as God, as consciousness, appearing in the physical form of itself, in a defined state of itself, you know, you will continue to die in your sins. All right. So we're going to read today from the book I've been reading now for several weeks. The original master class, 5 lessons, the most powerful lessons of the mind, from Never God himself. So he gave 5 lessons back in the day. I know it is in a book of the lessons that he gave. So we're going to read from Numbers. So he has some bunch of scriptures written in here, but he's just basically just going over it, you know, in his head. And he says right here that now we turn to the book of Numbers, and here we will find a strange story. All the stories in the Bible are strange, by the way, until you understand the purpose behind it. I trust that some of you have had this experience as described in the book of Numbers. They speak of the building of a tabernacle at the command of God. God commanded Israel to build him a place of worship. When you hear that now, you start to think a place of worship, we've come to know, is a place, a building that we go into to worship. So immediately our consciousness goes to, oh, a building. But keep in mind, this was something written not even 2,000 years ago, you know. This story is not 2,000 years ago, guys. This story would be based on chronological history of the Bible, which is interesting. It's not history, but as it is written, it is written in the garb of history, and there are sections of it where you would say, okay, it happened at this point, some years before this, some years before this. All right. So in my estimation, this would be talking about some 4 to 5 thousand years biblical history, not real history in this world as we know. We're just talking Bible history itself. Remember, if I didn't say it before, for those of you who will be watching this at some point, that the Bible is true, but it is not real, meaning that it is not real as in a history book. None of the names mentioned in the Bible or places are historical. They never existed. Perish that thought. None of these people ever lived, never walked this planet till this day. All right? Perish that thought. Never ever lived. And when I finish reading this, you will understand why is that the truth. The truth is why the Bible is true is because it is a book of your consciousness. It is a book of the mind. It is a psychological truth. It is a law that cannot be broken, edited, changed, or eliminated. It has no beginning, it has no end. All right? It's a law or principle that never misses. If you use it correctly, you will get correct results. If you use it wrongly, you will get wrong results. The law is not good or bad. It's how you operate it that makes it so. It is what it is. And how you use it will determine the results. All right? So just wanted to get that out there that we're not reading history here. All right? I was just saying that if this was history, this would have been some 5,000 years ago as written. And I'm saying this for a reason because all the stuff that they're going to be talking about in this book makes zero sense to even have at the time to create these things. What we're going to read about here is about the Israelites going through the wilderness, the 40 years to the wilderness with Moses. And none of it don't make any sense if this was really the case. All right. Um, so to continue, he gave them all the specifications of the tabernacle. It had to be elongated, movable, place of worship, and it had to be covered with skin. Need you be told anything more? Isn't that man? Man is elongated, man is covered with skin, and man is mobile. Okay? And in the scripture, it is said that it's supposed to be moving up on the desert. A desert is not some place that is deserted. All right? Hence the word desert, meaning no trees, nothing but emptiness, sand, and wind and whatever, right? Maybe a few little trees here and there. The desert is this planet that we are moving upon. Whether we're going three-dimensional, front, forward, backwards, left, right, up, down, the 3 dimensions of space. We're talking about this plane is the desert. When you read scripture, and I'm talking about desert, they are not talking about a deserted place. They're talking about any place that you live on this planet is the desert. And as a matter of fact, keep in mind everywhere that's been what do you call it now? Been built up or occupied, and we have buildings and stuff. There was a time when it had no buildings, when it was just nothing but vegetation or just dry land. Keep that in mind. So sometimes we have this thought that there was never a time when the place was just a uh, clean out space or just a jungle or whatever the case may be, because our minds is only aware of what we see right now. you know um But what we see right now never existed at one point. Okay? This whole place was deserted at one point. Deserted. But now it's all a city and all these different type of things. All right? So keep that in mind. So never says, isn't that man, know he not that he are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? This is 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know he not that he, this means you, are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth within you. Today's title is You Are the Life-Giving Spirit that dwelleth within this temple, not made by hands. This elongated temple, three-dimensional temple, not made by hands, because you are made by your parents. You were formed within a womb. Okay? You were not made by the hands of man. As we have made temples or tabernacles externally out of wood or zinc or tent or concrete blocks and whatnot, yes, man have done that, as I've done that, but that's not what was going on some 5,000 years ago in biblical history. That's not what was going on. There is no other temple, not a temple made with hands, but a temple eternal in the heavens. This temple is elongated and it is covered with skin and it moves across the desert. Okay? And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle. I never did understand this. Namely, the tent of the testimony. And at even, this is the evening, there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning. So what it is saying is that during the daytime there was a cloud covering the tabernacle, and during that night there was fire. No, you tell me that make any sense? Cloud over a building at day, and at night there's fire. But you're not yet. Check this out. So it was always the cloud covered it by day, and appearance of fire by night. This is Numbers 9, verse 15 and 16. The command given to Israel was to tarry until the cloud ascended by day and the fire by night. This was a command given to Israel, was to tarry or to stay put until the cloud ascends by day, means that the cloud lift up. So at night, when the fire is above the tabernacle, you're supposed to sleep until the cloud ascends. When morning come and the cloud now lifts up and ascends, you are now to move. Okay? So it says, tarry until the cloud ascends by day and the fire by night. Whether it be 2 days, a month, or a year, all these doesn't make any sense. Whether it be 2 days, a month, or a year, that the cloud tarried upon the tabernacle. Okay? So you're going to tell me that these guys are going to stay in put for a whole year because the fire is on above the tabernacle. Remember, there's a cloud at day and a fire by night. But they cannot move the tabernacle until the cloud ascends. All right? So it said, whether it be 2 days, a month, or a year, that cloud tarried upon the tabernacle. Okay? Remaining thereon, the children of Israel abode in their tents and journeyed not. But when it was taken up, they journeyed. Numbers 9, that's out November. Numbers 9, verse 22. You know that you are the tabernacle, but you may wonder, what is the cloud? In meditation, many of you may have seen it. In meditation, this cloud like the subsoil waters of an artisan well springs spontaneously to your head and forms itself into a pulsating golden ring. You always see them up angels with this ring over them head and all this type of stuff. They're telling you this is coming from somewhere, from someone, some group who knows these things that goes on within as you are in a certain manner of meditation or consciousness, right? So they externalize these things, making you believe this is something that actually exists on the outside, but all these symbols are from within yourself. All right. Um, in a meditative mood, bordering on sleep, the cloud ascends. So when you're meditating, bordering on sleep, this is when the cloud starts to ascend. This means you are rising in consciousness. It is in this drowsy state that you should assume that you are that which you desire to be, and that you have that which you seek. For the cloud will assume the form of your assumption and fashion the world in harmony with itself. What is it saying there, guys? It is saying that when you are rising in consciousness, when your mind starts to rise in the wish fulfilled, you're putting yourself in a place that you already have. You already have the possession of it in your mind, in your consciousness. It's already within you, right? Remember, creation is finished, but you're going through the act to materialize. Remember, I know you are the creator. So you are doing this act within yourself to materialize whatever it is that you're contemplating. As you meditate, meaning to contemplate, to think, to imagine a desire, an idea, the cloud is now lifting up. Okay, this is going to make sense why they were told to tarry when there's fire, or at night and cloud by day, and to not move until the cloud ascends. Notice they cannot move until the cloud move. Whether there be cloud by day or fire by night, it don't matter. They cannot move. They are supposed to tarry until the cloud ascends, right? So as the cloud ascends, this is the time when you're supposed to assume that you are what you are desiring. And as you make that assumption, the cloud is now being formed. You're now creating a mold. The cloud is now taking a particular shape. And as it takes that shape or that assumption, this is when it is filled with your desire. Okay? Your assumption will be fashioned in harmony with itself. The cloud is simply the garment of your consciousness, and where your consciousness is placed, there you will be in the flesh also. This is key right here. Again, the cloud is simply the garment of your consciousness, is what you're wearing. What is your mood? Where is your feeling? Where is your mindset upon right now? That is the cloud. That is the garment that you are wearing. Okay? That's your consciousness, which is unseen. And that's why they said the cloud, because what does a cloud do in our sight? The cloud moves, and it is always above. It travels. It's not stationary. You understand? And it's everywhere in the world at the same time. Everywhere you're going in the world, you find clouds. You understand? Your consciousness is the same way. It's universal. It's everywhere. So you are hearing wherever you are, and your consciousness can be anywhere you desire to put it. And that's what they're teaching you right here. All right. They said that the cloud is simply a garment of your consciousness, and where your consciousness is placed, there you will be in the flesh also. What are they saying? Wherever you send your mind, your body will follow. We've all done it, and many times we've done it in our lives, but we weren't aware that's what we did. And when you are aware, this is when you can test yourself to prove it to yourself that there is no God out there in oblivion that they've taught us about, or there's no God or Christ that is returning to save us all. And we were instructed that Christ already died for your sins. What is your sin? Your forgetfulness. All right? So the conscious mind is very forgetful. Learn something today and forget tomorrow. Learn something 5 years ago and forget 5 years later. Very forgetful. But within you is a greater storehouse that holds all the memories that you can access. If you think long enough, contemplate long enough, imagine enough, long enough, it'll come back to you. You understand? And so that's what he's talking about here. But the flesh will go wherever your cloud goes. This golden cloud comes in meditation. There is a certain point when you are approaching sleep that it is very, very thick, very liquid, very alive, and pulsating. It begins to ascend as you reach the drowsy meditative state, bordering on sleep. You do not strike the tabernacle, neither do you move it until the cloud begins to ascend. So what they're saying there, guys, is when you send your mind, your awareness to a place desired, until you dress it up and accept it as the wish already fulfilled. You understand? And living from the place you send your awareness, from the state you imagine, and walking in the place you are now, but walking as if you are in the place that you desire to be, or living as if you are in the place you desire to be. You are dressing up the place as you desire to be. I've done that many times. You understand? Done it many times. Acting as if, never says. Acting as if until the thing manifests. But and so when you send it there, something will harmonize where your body will find itself there because the body is the tabernacle. And remember, the tabernacle cannot move until the cloud moves, until your consciousness moves to your desired state. And when you set it down, when you set down your cloud now on that place or desire long enough and sustain the assumption, the body, this physical body, this tabernacle will disassemble and reassemble in the place where you set the cloud, i.e., your consciousness or your desire. So, in this sense, if you guys could just read the Bible and say the foolishness to the conscious mind, to the unaware mind, that these people were instructed to do. Nobody could do what the Bible tell them to do. Nobody, even in this day, when we have all this technology, nobody couldn't do it. It's nonsense. You cannot build a building based on, and I have some stuff I'm going to read to from my phone. You cannot build a building like that based on the specifics that we were instructed to build it and disassemble it based on the height and the width and all that stuff and the weight. And it was supposed to be carried by Levites. You know, how are you going to do that for 40 years in the wilderness? Like, it makes absolutely zero sense. And we used to believe this nonsense that these people actually did this for 40 years in the wilderness. You know, it's not talking about anything like that. The 40 years just represents in your in your forgetfulness, that is the 40 years. It's not 40 years exactly. 40 years represents a state of completion. Okay? When you get to 40 years, you're completed. A baby takes 40 weeks before it is born, or 9 months. Same thing. Everything in the Bible talks about 40 days, 40 nights, 40 years. You understand? Fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. The 40 is just a principle within consciousness wherein you reach a desired state of awareness or completion. All right? And then you're out of it. You're out of the wilderness, which is confusion. You are no longer confused. You are elevated. You are educated. You are now aware. Okay? You passed the test, so to speak, and you made it out of the wilderness. So nobody could be carrying around some big old church that's supposed to be mobile, carried by Levites. Only the Levites could carry this church. Poor Levites. All these blocks, heavy and all this type of stuff, carried around. And they're also the only ones who could carry the Ark of the Covenant as well. So they have a whole heap of work to do. Ark of the Covenant, and they have to carry this tabernacle as well. The Levites, we did this some time ago. The Levites is the neck area carrying around your head. You understand? And your head is what controls your entire body, is what mobilizes your body. Nothing moves until your brain tells it to move. You understand? So think of the Levites as the neck area carrying your head. Okay? That's what the Levites represents. The neck head area. All right? These are not people that ever lived or existed. The whole scripture is talking about this physical body and your awareness, and using phallic knowledge, as and making it seem as if it is history. But when you read the supernaturality of it, you have to use common sense and realize that this could not be history, because none of it this man can do. Not possible. It wouldn't happen. But it is true because it is talking about a principle of the mind, of consciousness. And we're supposed to read it. And if it makes sense, use it. And whatever does not make sense, you discard it. Just the same as when you eat something, your body uses the nutrition and discard what carried the nutrition. It don't keep it. It discards it as waste. We're to do the same thing when we read the Bible. Whatever makes sense, you hold on to that. You discover the sense in it. And if whatever doesn't make sense, walking on water and all this nonsense, you discard it. It has to be telling you something greater that is not seen or visible to the eye or to the ear, but to your consciousness. If you look deeper within, you'll find it, what it is telling you. All right? But as it says here, but when it was taken up, the body gets up, they journey. So whenever the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. All right? So you know that you are the tabernacle, but you may wonder, what is the cloud? All right? So as it says here, in meditation, this cloud is like the subsoil waters of the artesian well, and it springs spontaneously to your head and forms itself into pulsating golden liquid light. Then the gentle river, they flow from head into a stream of living rings of gold. All right? So you are wearing this ring of gold above your head, and everything is going to be in harmony with how you are meditating. Okay? Now, as it says right here, the cloud always ascends when man approaches the drowsiness of sleep. For when man goes to sleep, whether he knows it or not, he slips from a three-dimensional world into a fourth-dimensional world, and that which is ascended is the consciousness of that man in a greater focus. It is a fourth-dimensional focus. So that's when we tell you when you go to sleep, the conscious mind shuts down and the subconscious takes over. Your greater self takes over and travels now to the fourth dimension. And in a sense, it's always in the fourth dimension, as a matter of fact. That's where your subconscious lives. It's in the fourth dimension. And keep in mind, a dimension is not a place. It doesn't exist anywhere. It's just a state of awareness. It's not out there somewhere. God knows where, how far from here. It has no location. It just is. Okay? So your subconscious, your superconscious, your subconscious is in the fourth dimension, the superconscious is in the fifth dimension. It's just different levels of awareness. That's all it is. All right. What you now see ascending is the greater self. When that begins to ascend, you enter into the actual state of feeling you are what you want to be. That is the time you lull yourself into the mood of being what you want to be by either experiencing in imagination what you would experience in reality where you are already that which you want to be, or by repeating over and over again the phrase that implies you have already done what you want to do. A phrase such as, "Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful?" As though some wonderful thing had happened to you. So, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? So you're repeating that over and over to yourself until you start to feel the feeling as if something wonderful has actually happened to you. Okay? So let's go back to here where it says that you should lull yourself into the mood of being what you want to be by either experiencing in imagination what you would experience in reality. This is what Never says when he talks about living in the end or living from the end, from the very beginning. You have the beginning and you have the end. Don't live from the beginning, live from the end. But what's missing is the middle. The middle part is what you know not of how it is going to happen. But you do realize that you are not barred from knowing the beginning in terms of, okay, I have a desire. That's the beginning. What is the desire? I desire a new car, a new house, a new job, whatever. No, that's the beginning. The end is living as if you already have the thing. But do not concern yourself with how it is going to happen. That is the middle. That only your consciousness knows. Your greater self knows how this is going to transpire. The conscious mind does not know, can never know, will never ever know, ever, how the middle is going to happen. If it did know, you would not need your higher self. You understand? You would not need to so-called pray to God or ask for help. The middle is where the scripture says, the Father has ways he knows not of. My ways are his ways are past finding out. That is the middle between the beginning and the end. Nobody knows how it is going to happen. As we say in our natural state of existence, only God knows. That's what we're talking about. Only God knows. Only your higher self knows how this is going to transpire. Okay? And to not concern yourself with the how and when and if and all these other things. Okay? So use short phrases as, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? As though something wonderful had happened to you. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth their ears and sealeth their instruction. This is Job 33:15 and 16. Notice it says that when you're in deep sleep, so your creative, your best creative mood is when you've gone to sleep. Why? Because you have cut down or shut down the conscious mind. So it does not interfere. And it is then when the instructions as to how something is going to happen will be sealed, will be actualized. You will wake up the next day, the instruction is sealed, okay? Meaning that it says, open up the ears of men. It's almost like God come to you while you're sleeping and whisper in your ear the instructions and seal it. When you get up the next day, you have an intuition, you have a moment of clarity, clairvoyance, something come to your mind. And this happened to me maybe 2 weeks ago. And I just realized it was based on some stuff I was writing, with my left hand. Um, and I didn't realize it until last week that, oh, so that's where that came from, because I had forgotten. But I got the memory now, the intuition, the clarity came to my mind last week or 2 weeks ago. And that's what it's talking about. All it is saying here, guys, is that if you keep the meditation, if you keep the assumption long enough, there will come a time when you get a whisper. That is the desire or the way of how the desire is going to be met or manifested will come to you like a thief in the night. Either will come to you or someone will come to you. Something will happen wherein it will happen. Okay? But it is saying that you have to stop getting in your own way with the conscious mind. Go to sleep. Okay? Meaning to put yourself in a state of meditation, borrowing upon sleep. And it is then that you're in stillness, and then these things will come to you. That's one way. Another way is to forget about it. Remember to forget, as Serti was saying last week. Remember to forget, what you conjured up in your mind in terms of stop conditioning it. When you stop conditioning your desire, this is when you have no in consciousness, gone to sleep for you to receive the instructions because the conscious mind was interfering the entire time. When it stops, constructing and reconstructing and doing all these different type of stuff, that is when the subconscious mind now is initiated and whispers in your ear the instructions as to how it is going to happen. Okay, and you will get up and you find something comes to your mind, or you just buck up and run into the right person runs into you. Whatever happens, you will find yourself start to move because the cloud has lifted and has gone to a place where you desire to be. And now the body has to disassemble, not literally, but just how they write it to make you think they're talking about a structure. That's why they wrote all this garb in it, that it has to be disassembled and carried by the Levites. Disassembly here just means to get up from where you are. You are no longer assembling here. The body is no longer assembled here. You're disassembling to move towards your goal. It not talk about disassembling no structure. It's this body to remove itself from where it is now assembling or assembled and reassembled where you desire consciousness, where it went in consciousness, and your body will follow that location. Can't miss, because remember, I and my Father are one. I, in this sense, talking about the body and my consciousness, are one. Wherever I go in consciousness, I must follow. Can't miss. Whether that be good, bad, or indifferent. I always like to put that in there. All right. So use wisely and this was Job 35, 16. All right. It says, use wisely the interval preceding sleep, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and go to sleep in this mood. At night, in a dimensionally larger place or larger world, when deep sleep falleth upon men, they see the play and the parts that they will later on play on earth. Remember, you're in sleep, but your dimensionally larger self sees the instructions that you, the body, and the conscious mind will play when you rise up the next day, right? So it says that you will later play on earth, and the drama is always in harmony with that which their dimensionally greater selves read and play through them. Because that's what's giving you the instructions now as you sleep. And it will seal the instruction, meaning that once it is sealed, it is bound to happen. That's why you're instructed to imagine wisely, because you don't know what instructions your consciousness is sealing for you to carry out the next day. You understand? So I always like to put that there. And the drama is always in harmony with which their dimensional greater self read and play through them. Our illusion of free will is but ignorance of the causes which makes us act. Our illusion of free will is but ignorance of the causes that makes us act. What it is saying here is that we're not aware, we are ignorant of what causes us to make us act, which is our greater self or our consciousness. You understand? Our free will is to think. All right? That's our birthright, is to think. But we're not conscious that our own thoughts, our own contemplation is what makes us act. We don't know. That is what makes us move and do all these different things we do. So we're in a state of ignorance. The sensation which dominates the mind of man as he falls asleep, though falls, will harden into fact. So it is saying whatever mood you're going to bed with, that sensation, though it is false right now, meaning it's not apparent, it's not visible, but if you fall asleep in that assumption, it will harden into fact at some time. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled as we fall asleep is the command to this embodying process, saying to our mood, be thou actual. In this way, we become through a natural process what we desire to be. I can tell you dozens of personal experiences where it seemed impossible to go elsewhere, but by placing myself elsewhere mentally as I was about to go to sleep, circumstances changed quickly, which compelled me to make the journey. I have done this across water by placing myself at night on my bed as though I slept where I wanted to be. As the days unfolded, things began to mold themselves in harmony with that assumption, and all things that must happen to compel my journey did happen. And I, in spite of myself, must make ready to go toward that place, which I assumed I was in when I approached the deep of sleep. As my cloud ascends, I assume that I am now the man I want to be, or that I am already in the place where I want to visit. I sleep in that place now. Then life strikes the tabernacle, strikes my environment, and reassembles my environment across seas or over land, and reassembles it in the likeness of the assumption. You know what that means? 30? I see 30 just joined back. You can't hear me, 30? No, click him off. Yeah, let me know.
Yes, sir, Chris. Yes, I couldn't find the mute button for a second there. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but I'm back. I haven't been abreast of what's being discussed, but I'm here now. I'm here now.
All right. But you can chime in. Or
Yeah,
you're
man,
going to do.
man, I can chime in, man.
All right. So let me just say a few things and then you chime back in and stuff. So I can get you caught up. So we're talking about here, I'll go back over this right here that Neville was talking about, he's had dozens of personal experiences where it seemed, to use that word, it seemed impossible to go elsewhere. But by placing myself elsewhere mentally as I was about to go to sleep, circumstances changed quickly, which compelled me to make the journey. Notice him say circumstances. So there was a circumstance that was, barring or preventing him from making the journey. But because he went to bed in the assumption, um, it compelled him to make the journey. I have done it across water and by placing myself at night on my bed as though I slept where I want to be, like when he went to Barbados, like when he was in the military and he placed himself in the place he desired to be. As the days unfolded, things began to mold themselves in harmony with that assumption, and all things that must happen to compel my journey did happen. And I, in spite of myself, must make ready to go toward that place which I assumed I was in when I approached the deep of sleep. And he says right here, as my cloud ascends, I assume that I am now the man I want to be, or that I am already in the place where I want to visit. I sleep in that place now, right now. Then life strikes the tabernacle, strikes my environment, and reassembles my environment across seas or over land, and reassembles it in the likeness of my assumption. This is the part I like. It says likeness. You know what that means? It just simply means that whatever you imagine, that is you imaging, because we are made in the image and likeness. Everything you make or desire is going to be made in the way you image it. And there's the greater self that's going to create the likeness of that which you imagine. The greater self is the mirror reflecting what the conscious mind has been meditating, contemplating, imagining. So you're always in a state of imaging and liking or likeness. You are becoming like the thing you imagine. You are always going to be in the place or experience that you assume yourself to be long enough. Okay? So your assumption will take shape in the likeness that you imagined it as. And it has nothing to do with men walking across a physical desert. The whole vast world around you is this desert. What do you have to say about that, 13?
It's all a moving mind. And we've said this so often, but a wise man once said the truth is worth saying a million times. I was explaining it to somebody last night. I was explaining it to a person last night, and the person was having difficulty coming to terms with the fact that everything that you are physically doing now is because of what you emotionally did sometime in the past. So we have to be aware of these things that the physical comes after the mental, after the spirit. I use the word mental. I don't like to use the word spiritual. But you can use spiritual if you want. The physical thing is always gonna come after the mental preparation that you've made, the spiritual preparation that you've made, the mood that you're in. The mood that you're in is gonna determine what your next experience is gonna be. And it's not a law. It's not a law that can be reversed. There's no point in trying to go against it or try to manipulate. You cannot go around it. If you have a bad day, you're gonna have another bad day. If you see that day as being a bad day. Because you can have what people call a bad day, and for you it's not a bad day, it's just a normal day. Because you have wiped that out of your consciousness. So if you see things as being good and bad, then they're gonna mirror themselves to you accordingly, as being good or bad. Just take things as they are. Things simply are. Not good, not bad. It's either you want the experience or you don't want it. A man might say, all right, a man got jail and him see that as bad. I see man come to jail voluntarily. When I used to work at jail, I see man in the jail and he's been in there for a while and he might get out. And he actually looked at me and told me that he'll be right back. I said, I'll be right back. And he came back later the same day. I thought about man that had been in jail for months. And his little misdemeanor thing, they couldn't keep him any longer, so they had to let him out. And what did he do? He went out, do some drugs, whatever he has to do, what he was longing to do. And when him done, he got Walmart, got steal a 6-pack of beer. So they would arrest him and came back.
That's crazy.
The man just go Walmart, go thief a 6-pack of beer just so they would arrest him and carry him back. So we who see this now as being to jail is bad. To him not see it as bad. So nothing is bad in and of itself. It's your perception of it. So even when things come upon you that is not what you desired, don't see it as bad. Just see it like you buy something on the right size and you will return it. You just return it. No label it. When you return something because it's bad, it's just not the right size.
Yeah.
True. So it's our mental attitude, and the mental attitude, if you allow it to run on the subconscious, the mental attitude is always going to be poor, because subconsciously we have not been programmed to keep our mental plate clean.
Yeah.
The subconscious plate, there's always going to be a mess because it was programmed into us. And not really your fault. You do a lot of the programming through the years, but you're not going to escape it one way or the other. You are not going to escape it. So now that you know, when you catch yourself out of place, just laugh about it. Just laugh about it and reshape. Me have a way these days where me just find myself and say cancel. People that even understand why me I say. Me just say cancel, delete. Like myself, like me realize I go through a thought pattern in my head. Me realize that for the last 2-3 minutes I've been lost in the start of something that I don't even want to see. When I say cancel, delete, I don't like it cancel and delete nothing, What it does do, it confirms to the subconscious, the inner self, the quiet self on the inside. It confirms to the self that not only have you realized that you were thinking nonsense, but you are taking an active step to reverse it.
Yeah.
So the subconscious realizes, okay, so I'm on to the game. He realizes he made the nonsense.
Digging up the seed.
Exactly. So when you do these little things, you're trying to steer in the game. You have to. We've suffered in the wilderness for too long. The wilderness of forgetfulness, the wilderness of just ignorance, not knowing better.
Yeah.
We forget something. We get to a point where I don't go forget. We forget to a point where I know you don't know. We forgot the thing so bad. I don't forget. I know we never know. Your
Yeah.
name know better.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because we all came here with a blank slate that if they had put the right things in our head, we would have been kings and queens, brother. You can do it with your granddaughter right now, or your grandson, or your son, or if you have a little one. You can raise your son. You can raise your son to have the mindset of anything at all, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's the mindset you grew up with, you know.
Absolutely.
As him come with the mind blank and we are set in mind, and you set in mind so you can set it the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do it all the time with devices.
And without animals, you know, train dog, go sit down
Animals.
beside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listens to you, nobody else.
Yeah.
Because are you programming?
That's why you have to do it. That's why I was talking to another virgin last night, and I was explaining to him the concept of the mind being a faithful servant but a cruel master.
Mm.
He was resistant to it for a little bit till him understand what I say. Your mind is there. It can be both, you know. It can do both, you know. The mind can serve and it can master. It can serve you and it can master you. I am telling you that it is not good for you if you make your mind master you. And you
Yeah.
see if your mind master you, you know what it's gonna do. It's gonna just keep giving you where you give it, where you like.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna keep because it assumes that you like, because that you keep doing.
Yeah.
It assumes that you keep thinking, that you keep doing. And it will sit there and look on your suffering and thy punishment and still give you more in answer of you. Because that you are sent to it.
Yeah. And
That's why
you have to turn off the faucet. Can't turn off the cell.
that's why God believers, when we look on God believers, are suffer. I suffer. And I still a pray and I talk see you suffering, I talk no dinner figure bed suffering, I talk, you know. I see them in my community grow up, you know, brother, and still faithful, you know.
Mm.
And I'm like, I wonder if these people realize, say, I'm not God that do nothing to you. And I'm not the devil that do nothing. Are you do it to yourself, you know?
Yeah. And you're the God, man.
And the devil don't.
And the devil. So, yeah. You're doing everything by yourself and to yourself. And if somebody come and does it, still you are do it. They're just the
Yeah, I still
extension.
do it. Still do it. If somebody come and do it for you, I still do it. Are you attract that? Are you attract that?
Yeah, they're just the extension.
Yeah, and if somebody come and mess it up for you, so you do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, Chris. I used to sit down. And want to see certain changes. I talk all in my yard with my wife and my children, them and whoever, like certain changes and me. You talk about it till you blow it. Not man. You know when I change when you change. When you change about it.
Yeah.
And when you change about it almost to the point where remember my son them would have come in and the man would have come and the man them would have block up one side of the just block up the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Knock here, just block. And me used to complain about it to a point where I'm not say nothing more. And the man then just stop it. Me stop let it be a problem. So the mere fact say me stop make it be a problem to me inside, then it stop being a problem outside. The man then start parking car in the right place. And when we used to tell them and go on bad about it, they still do it. It's like the man them still forget to park the car in the right place. Even when time me make up nice, and when me stop make up nice, the man them start parking in the right place.
If that don't explain to you and everyone of us here that you are the one creating everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not what you don't want, it's what you focus.
It's what me focus on.
Yeah.
More time me we a driver come in, man. And we a driver come in and have me down the road, me I say.
I hope so.
No hope say. No hope say. It's like, you know, myself, much better when I reach Jamali Park and Black Up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to myself. It's when I reach and block up the whole place, man. One partner, one empty spot in a garage. And Jamal in a drive in a garage in an empty spot, you know, in park outside and left block up outside and left an empty spot inside.
Yeah, they block
And
up.
he used to upset me so much, and the man just keep doing it.
Yep.
And me I cause it.
Like Reverend Ike say, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know, every time somebody act out of sorts, so to speak, and they say, what the hell is wrong with me today?
Listen, when I realize question me I do it,
Hmm.
when it starts happening to me, not only at home now, it starts happening to me at work, it starts happening to me when the guy grocery store. Yo,
Aha.
it go and a man park, one empty spot there, but the man park so bad in the other spot that you can't go. And I
Bubble
realize the
park.
same attitude when I have from home, I hit a come and play out. Anyway, me go and people just have black up spot for me
Hmm.
because you complain about it.
So you must find it.
Yeah, because you
Mm-mm.
complain. Just you see if as a let's say as a lady, if as a woman, you find say your husband and go through whatever and you keep blaming everything for him and keep blaming. All right, good. Eventually, even if you're in left and you get a next husband, a next husband I can give you a piece of that to you. Because you know
Yeah.
why? Because you give the next brother the whole heap of blame where him name deserve. Same thing if it's a man and a woman, you give that woman the whole heap of blame what she never deserves. So you see the next woman, she have to come give you back somebody over pay or you give the next woman. I just saw it work out. Everything is balanced in the earth. You can't get around balance.
Hmm.
There are no half circles. The world is a cycle, is a circle, and there are no half circles.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will go around have to come all the way back around. Can't escape it. We have
Sunrise and
nothing.
fall every day.
All right, good. You ever see sun reach halfway, I go over towards the west halfway and turn back.
I
Full
don't
circle
come.
it up.
I don't come
I
back.
don't come none at all. There is no weather condition existing out there that can cause the sun to turn back, when it start journey, from east to west, straight over there, it go no matter what.
One direction.
Man, when some are done, man, you could have ball blood a fall, you get brother, and nothing else.
Hmm.
A one way go. One way. And I saw it is with everything else. Everything come out full circle, brother.
Hmm.
All right. You say if you're a giver, but you're not a good, because I used to be like that, I used to be a poor receiver. Like a person, even my birthday or Father's Day. And remember, like Ball Milk and niece, them would have come and buy uncle something for your Father's Day. I mean, I said, but you're not even at work. Where you do? So by you refusing that gift where you think is a small gift, you also refuse the big one too.
Yeah. True.
It have to go. You can't just give and get. That's not a half circle. That
Mm-hmm.
everything has to come full circle.
Yeah.
Full
And
circle.
because of your attention,
Yes.
because energy flows where your attention goes. So, all those things that you were experiencing, certainly, you magnify the situation so much so that it must follow you like crosses, as I'm saying.
Remember me tell you, man.
Follow you like crosses everywhere you go.
It took me a while to realize, say, that's why, I'm sure you something, You see me and you see out here I talk to people about this thing, I teach this thing. We have to be extra careful. Too much is given, much is expected. Yourself,
Mm.
yourself has a greater expectation from you than the man who out in the street. His self realizes him fast asleep, so the self knows him not have no chance of emerging.
Yeah.
But you see, you were half a week and you invite yourself in and push it back and that judge you harshly. And time I say judge it, it's hard for you to convince yourself because you play too much game with it.
Mm-hmm.
You show it, say, wake up, then you go back and sleep. Then you show it, no. Problem. Next time you have to show him, say, wake up, you have to go show him more than what you did show him last time.
Yeah.
Like last time you joke around. You're going like, wake up and go out sleep.
So that's how you're gonna get.
That's all you're going to get.
You can't advance. You can't. It's like turning in half of your homework.
Yeah, teacher, you're not getting a great feat. You better your name do none. Turning half.
You can't move on. 1 minute you're the scholar, the next minute you stop the homework, and you expect to still get the same result, but you have to be consistent.
Yes.
with what you're doing.
Because that's the point where the self know that you're serious. It would be like you got the gym. You got the gym and you start lift up like weights and 3 day, 4 day later you tap one and go back. The muscle them don't know what you do. They might wait for you to make a decision. The self been waiting on you to make a decision.
It's a good analogy, right? Yep. That's a good analogy. There's always levels to everything.
Yes.
You never reach.
You never reach because you're not remaining consistent with nothing at all. You're not sure yourself. Me, I learned this late. You see, if I start read a book, no matter how I find the book boring, because I start reading, I go finish reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go finish reading, no matter how boring I find it to be, because anything where you do, brother, if you don't make it a habit for reach halfway and turn back. Because you still have to go come back, because circles cannot be unbroken,
Yeah.
Circle cannot be. That's why when you have a man born, you have to dead man. You ever see a man born and a dead man, you have to
You have to complete the cycle.
You have to complete it. If you're near one dead, you shouldn't born, brother. Once you're born, you have to dead guy cycle have to complete. So all this little guessing and spelling around and playing around where you're doing in your life, brother, complete the journey. Because every turn where you turn back, you are just a longer journey, a longer distance you have to take to come. Because you still have to come full circle.
Yeah.
Can't go around it. There are no half circles in life.
Full circle.
Full circle with everything. Full circle with everything. You not get away with nothing. You don't get out. A man might say, yeah, but that man did kill your wife from 17 years. Yeah, actually, you're not 17 years. 17 years of what he has lived through. You know, get it? When the silence come upon him at night, you think you know come up, you think you know how much time all night dreaming, things himself a kill a woman there. Suffer, man.
Yeah.
You can't get physically, where a man has enough physical evidence of it, but trust me, mentally,
Haunt him.
forever.
In a haunted house.
Yes.
Within your own self,
Physical house, it's a haunted. Yeah, the quicker you learn, so you have to stick with the journey. And just get with, because what you doing now, you make your GMAC talk a lot on non-resistance. As a matter of fact, even recently, my experience up with him and him come back to me and say, he must say, GT, you see one time I did say this to you, you see anyhow you did resist. You see you turn out beautiful. Because even though you disagree, you just not resist. Because I've learned to not resist, brother. Guess what? If you go down the wrong road, it can't hurt you, The minute you go down, even if it was the wrong road, you see, as long as your attitude is right, the minute you go down the road change from being wrong and turn right, Because you're down there.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. There is no wrong road. It's just wrong attitude. Just wrong attitude. There's no wrong road. There's no wrong place at no wrong time. Everywhere where you're there at the time, at the right place, you're there at the right time. You're there with the wrong attitude sometimes.
The attitude creates the altitude,
You get your altitude, and it doesn't matter how high the altitude have to be, as long as you keep the right attitude. There's no, you can control any situation if you first control yourself. Yeah. Once you control yourself, because when you control the small self, you get a round of applause from the big self. And the big self say, no, nothing can touch you. Remember, say the big self is the immortal, invisible, ancient, higher self. The big self are the guy when the little self go down for sleep, the big self get up and gone about in business. And you see him in a dream. You notice you can never touch in a dream. You can't touch in nobody. The big self not have nobody. He puts on the likeness of a body if he mess with you, if he play with you. I show himself to you, say, I exist. Every time you dream, you see yourself and yourself, I show you. Say, look, I exist, you know. Within you.
Yeah.
Because when you're asleep, you see it. And he show you, say, I exist within you. That's your question. When you dream, when you dream, you see yourself at Jamaica. And you upon the bed, you're so asleep. And you dream, see yourself at Jamaica. Yeah, so how you see America, even if yourself get up and go about in business while you're asleep. So how you turn America and see? Anywhere the self go, you go with it. And anywhere you go, the self go with you. You never, when scripture say, if I take on the winds of the morning and fly to the uttermost part of the sea, there he is with me, and people I think of Jesus. Jesus, they were with you. You are yourself. It's you and yourself. You cannot extricate yourself from it. It's like you and your shadow. It's like you and the guy in the mirror. You can't run from him.
You're the tabernacle, the temple in which yourself dwells.
In which the self dwells. Anywhere you're going, you carry it with you. And anywhere it go, it carry you with. That's why anywhere it going in a dream, you see him. Or you see him if you need it. You think you're going to bed asleep America, but no. The self, because I know you in a dream, because you have a physical body. I know you in a dream. The self when the body not when I dream, have no physical body. But if you are witnessing it, then you are there as well. That's why if you stop to pee, you start pee on the bed because I feel your body might using and nobody's using it. And your body might using it now. That's why the body where I use look exactly like you to the point where you say missing myself.
Yeah.
And your body might use. No body. You put on your body if you sleep, you take and put on clothes on the body and go and go in business and allow you to see it. I show him, I try show you something exists. Him allow you to see it. See you see him wear your clothes. And now you realize that this is a present being in my existence. I'm not there to harm you, there to help you. There, it will harm you, you know. Not a problem harming you either. But its intent is not to harm you. It wants to see you have a beautiful experience so that it has a beautiful experience.
So only follow instructions, man.
Only follow instructions.
The instructions you give it, as we were talking about in the book, when you're going to sleep at night, you find yourself in that sleepy drowsy state. And whatever you are meditating and contemplating on, and you fall asleep. I remember saying, you don't know when you fall asleep, you know.
You don't know what was going through your mind at the time when you fall asleep.
So you have to be conscious in a way where you're controlling your assumption or your meditation prior to falling asleep. Because when you fall asleep, that is when now the higher self seals the instructions.
Seals the instructions. You have one more chance. You have one more chance to get it right. When you first wake up in the morning. But I'm going to show you a thing. You see, just like how it's hard to control, and I'm say hard, cannot not hard, really. Once you're zeroing into it. But just like how when you're falling asleep and you try to maintain your focus, you don't even know where you need to focus by the time when you fall asleep. And you would think so when you're waking in the morning, it would be easier then. And it is somewhat. But you're waking in the morning and the instruction is that you're not supposed to wake up and move and start doing nothing. If you're not, it takes a lot of practice. As you wake up in the morning, you don't even remember nothing at all because you're still in a sleepy mind. When you first wake up, you're as much as your eye wide up now, you see everything. When you just wake up, you're just as sleepy as you were the second when you fall asleep. The first second when you wake up, you're just as sleepy as you were the last second before you fell asleep. Full circle, come again. It's like 1 minute. It's like 1 minute. It's like 1 minute to 12 and 1 minute after 12. I see same thing.
Yeah.
Both of them is 1 digit off from the center. 1 minute to 12 or 1 minute after 12, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
on the clock. But it's the same thing. The last frame before you fall asleep and the first frame until you wake up, it's the same exact thing. It's a circle of glory.
Yeah. That's why you feel the same way waking up as you were
Yeah, groggy.
when you fall asleep. Yeah. So there at that point, you have a chance now to
redeem yourself. Yeah, if you miss it at 1 minute to 12,
Yeah.
when at 1 minute after 12, you can't catch you back.
Mhm.
If you make it go no further, if you make me go no further, and that is gone.
Imagine that.
Yeah, you have to catch it right. You have to catch it right with the. I find in my experience, I find it easier for discipline myself with my first week. Something when right as me about to move, something kind of remind me. Moreover, even if me already make the move, even if me already reach the phone or me already start moving, come off of the bed for the bathroom, me catch myself, and me still stop. And commit to him if you commit to before me move. Because even though you make the first wrong move, your mind still in a sleepy state. As long as it is the sleepy state that causes the seed to take root,
Yeah.
As long as you're in the sleepy state, even if you didn't do foolish, even if you do foolish is the first second, but the next few seconds you turn around and do the right thing. It cancels out the foolishness for you do.
Awareness is the key, basically, you said.
Yeah, awareness is the key. And the more you correct the nonsense, and the less the nonsense will show up.
Yeah. So always be aware, basically. I remember to be aware of that one, right? Remember to be
yes, we have to remember to be aware. All right. If Jesus was a real being,
yeah,
Jesus would be what a being could be if he remains aware at all times. At all times, which is not possible. That's why we know that Jesus never real. Well, that's why we know that never real. You cannot remain aware
all the time
of yourself, at all times, because then the self wouldn't get to play the game. It's a game, you know. The self wouldn't get to play in a game. You lock him up in a game, you know. It's like you play Ludi and you don't get to ban. You don't get to come in a game none at all.
The experience, yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to have the experience because you're too aware.
Yeah.
You have to forget and remember. That's why the whole game, forget and remember, is the name of this game.
Like you watch a movie, man, and when you start watching a movie, you know it's a movie you go watch, but at some point during the movie, you forget.
You have to forget there's a movie or you're not going to enjoy the movie.
And you are completely engulfed in the movie. So till you're now saying, run now, what you run for?
Yeah, yes.
You know, see the man come, So you start saying this thing as if it's real, like you're in the movie. It's like you're witnessing something then in real life. And this is you completely forgetting, that you're watching a movie and you're engulfed in the experience. Start having the emotions, whether it be fear, anger, sadness, happiness, whatever it is, they come over you. Imagine that.
Yeah, see, when you watch a sports game, when you watch basketball, after you watch soccer, and your team under pressure and it come to a game, the man will take a shot, you kick all, if you don't mind, you kick all the table foot.
Yeah, man, because your body is involved.
Yeah, because it's like it's an out of body experience you have. You come off of your couch where you're on the football field.
Yeah, you're on the field at this point, yeah.
Yes.
You're in the game, you're in it.
Then when you have to kick at a ball in your living room, the ball in your living room, upon the field, upon the TV ball. Over there, so you find yourself,
You're no longer a spectator, you are a
full participator. And that's when you really reach the self. You reach yourself by participation. The touch is necessary. You have to physicalize it.
And that is living from the end.
End.
Or living in the end, because if we could do the same thing we do in movies, as we're saying here, are the game. If we can have that same emotional response and even the physical movements at times, as in walking in the assumption, walking in your house as if you're in the place you desire to be, or driving your car as if you're driving the exact car you're meditating on or imagining. Seeing the car as the same thing. Whatever your car has, it is more than that now. You're seeing something completely different.
Yes.
And if you can catch that mood, that feeling, just the same, you know, and just imagining driving to your favorite restaurant, your favorite destination. I work here going on, but your mind is in a different place and state. Eventually, you will find yourself in those places, at that place, and in that car. And when it happened, you will be like, it's almost like your disbelief.
Yeah.
Because you at one point it was just an imagination, it was just a thought, and it has come to fruition. And you're not witnessing somebody else doing it. You are the one having the experience.
Yes.
And it blows your mind at times when you know that you have done it. Yeah.
All right. Why show you a thing? You notice how we are programmed. You notice when a man do something wrong. When a man do something, where him call wrong. When a man do something and it cause him to get a negative experience out of it.
Yeah.
You do nonsense and you go to jail.
Mhm.
In go to jail, him blame himself. He knows he fault,
Yeah.
Even if I blame the devil, the devil is just a co-accused with him. I blame himself too. Cause you go hear me say, boy, I shouldn't go in IKEA. I know I shouldn't go in IKEA with them, Yeah, so I blame himself, So when something negative happens, he will blame himself. But when something positive happens, hardly do we ever take the credit for it, When something you think, when something positive happens, you either say God do it or luck. You either say lucky, or God do it for me. You don't ever see it as something that was your creation. We are made with. But when problem come, you see it as your creation and blame yourself.
So we program.
Yeah, we pull up that cover that do that keep you a little bit off balance, keep you below 50%. It keeps you below 50% because you're not claiming the thing equal. When you're giving more credit than you're claiming for yourself.
Yes.
So you're always gonna be below the bar. You're always gonna be below the bar. Because you're giving praises and to others and taking blame for yourself.
Imagine that.
And that's how we are programmed to be.
Yeah, because we're programmed that we should be, as them say, humble, and you cannot take credit for some of the most so-called impossible things. You can't take credit for that. You have to give the credit to someone else.
You have to give credit to God.
You have to give credit to God. But
I thought about let me show you common things where man do, and give it credit to God, Like a man go out there, him and him wife have problem getting pregnant. He go to clinic go get fertility treatment for his wife and work overtime and job for pay for it. And when the woman get pregnant and have his son, he's a God give his son. And you know what he get? No, brother. Take credit for it. Are you a son? Are you and when we do that, it's like it's a form of self-hatred, When a man cannot credit himself for anything at all, he's not accept himself.
yeah, man, like I say, it's our programming.
It's a programming, it's a false humility. It's a false humility.
False humility. It's so natural for you to do that. You're so willing to give credit and unwilling to take it.
Yes.
And even for the things that are happening in your life, as you say, you start blaming the devil as well. You never take responsibility, because to take credit is to take responsibility.
Yes.
You understand?
If you go right, I'm my leadership. And if you go wrong, I'm my fault.
Yeah. What did Joshua say? Joshua said to Rahab, if you stay in the place and blood be upon your head. You understand? If you stay where I tell you to stay, and blood be upon your head, it is and blood be upon you, it is on my head.
It is on me. Yeah, it is on me.
If you stay where me tell you to stay and blood come, it is upon my head. You know, that is you taking responsibility from the get-go, you know. That's you taking responsibility, you know, because you know that you're the one doing it. You know, you're the one who's either at fault or in good. Either way, the blood is always going to be upon your head. It cannot be on someone else's. And that's what we were never taught to accept or to know, as a matter of fact. We're always casting blame or giving credit. And that push everything away from you. Nothing goes back within you. Nothing goes towards you. Nothing is
Yeah, and you think that's and you think that you were taught that is humble.
yeah.
It to be, I'm sure something to be about humble. To be humble is when you make a decision to stand down. You're not humble if stand. For example, let's say you're in the bus. You're in a bus and the bus kind of packed, kind of full. But your back hurt you. Your back seriously hurt you. And you have a seat, you sit down. And a pregnant lady come in and she not a seat. And a humble when you get up and get the seat, you know, because you're not supposed to, by right, you're not supposed to get up and get a seat. You're in there before and you're back hurt you, you know.
Yeah.
So by right, you're not supposed to get up and get a seat then. No. But because it is the humble and socially acceptable thing for you do based on the program we're in you.
Yeah.
Now you go against yourself and go stand up and the woman then she asks you if you see it and she tell us no way at all. And you really have to feel about because she's pregnant and you feel people go be looking at you say you sit down and she stand up.
Yeah.
That's not a humility, that's a stupidity.
Yeah. It all comes back to social programming.
Social programming. Well,
Yeah.
you see when you're onto yourself and know who you are and you're onto yourself, you would not find an awakened being there. Now, you see me now as an awakened being, if my back hurt me and I have a problem, or for whatever reason, it better for me if it's down there here right now than for that woman there. When I see her stand up there, so you know where I go do? I go imagine that somebody go get up and get her a chair.
Exactly.
I'm gonna imagine somebody gonna get up and get her a chair, because right now my foot hurt me and she can't get mine.
You are still getting up, just not out of your chair. You're getting up out of your consciousness.
Correct.
You're right. You're rising your consciousness to the level of awareness that you would like to see happen. You understand? And that is you still helping this lady.
Of course. Without saying a word.
Without saying a word, without physically moving.
I remember two incidences over the last about 3 years. 3-year period. I mean, no fear fuck. Say me cause the rain for stop fall. And I say stop fall, I mean with the immediate effect. Yeah, we got one stage show best of the best about 3 years ago. And when we are driver good on there, everybody are saying we not feel bad go cause too much rain. And I say me buy me ticket them already and bad artists them down there, buries them and the whole of them did it. I want guys show. And then me left me yard figure. And when we reach, when we walk going there, we have to end up, we have man the house, a road out the front to sell umbrella. To buy umbrella and I look up on the sky and I say, you know, say that rain leave it up to. I never say it to a soul. I look up there and I say it in myself. And the rain stop. When I say rain stop, not even a drizzle for the rest of the night, brother.
You move the cloud, sir. T.
All right, good. You see, a couple months ago when I got Jamaica go bury Omri.
Mm-hmm.
When we are leaving church, you go in the graveyard and the graveside that you are lane, you have to half of the main. And when we are walk, I go around the brother, appear rain. I mean, I said that rain, you know, said that rain, you have to stop me and bury my picnic door. By the time before me reach around there and the walk to go around there, rain where people are like turn back, you see, all the people are run and come back and me and go around. Me can't turn back. I'm have to go watch my picnic get buried.
Yeah.
And the rain, you have to stop.
Mm-mm.
And the rain stop without saying a thing to a soul. Me just knowing in my sense that this rain, you have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You're not different from the rain, you know. You and the rain are one, you know. You're not different from anything. You are conscious and the rain is conscious.
Mm-hmm.
You ever say the rain fight nobody when a time for you stop. The rain no time for you tap and it tap. You know, fight and resist. It's just stop. And when a time for it come, it come.
Mm-hmm.
The rain not come reluctantly, you know. It come.
And just as well, you can make it stop, you can make it come.
Of
Because
course.
it's the same law, the same principle.
It's what you, if you see the rain falling with all the change in atmospheric conditions that's gonna be happening if the rain is, and if you see that, or if you see it, I mean you hold it and see it, then that's what's happening in you. That's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about today.
Okay.
You know, this is lifting your consciousness that is always above the tabernacle, whether it be by day, you know, or night. You know, it's always above. Notice you said, which is interesting, that this consciousness at night is fire that's above the tabernacle, you know. You understand? This fire, because the cloud represents your higher self.
Cloud by day, fire by night. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you go sleep at night, the cloud gone because that is your awareness that's gone to the fourth dimension. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But during the day, it is with you in this awakened state. It's only when you go sleep that your subconscious goes off into the deep.
Both are, yes,
You
absolutely.
understand? So these mystics write it so perfectly. They knew these things that when you sleep at night, as Never would say, you know, you go into the darkness or into the silence or whatever. The fire represents this is like your conscious mind now, you know. Your cloud has gone away, but your conscious mind is still with you, you know. And when you wake up, you're not conscious, you know, but you're sleeping. You understand? But when you wake up, you regain consciousness. You regain consciousness, and the cloud comes back. And as you
Yeah. I see that.
wherever you send the cloud, when it comes back to you, that's where it's going to carry you, you know. Because at night it travels.
Yes.
This is you in meditation.
Go to prepare a place. So
You want to prepare a place so that when it come back where it was, there you may be also. You understand? So that's why it come back when you're in the waking state. And it's going to carry you. You're going to wake up and you're going to find yourself doing in harmony what you had instructed it to do when you fall asleep. You know, or before you fall asleep. It's going to seal the instructions, you know, so when you wake up in the morning, you're going to carry out, or whenever that day come, you're going to carry out whatever the instructions were that you were given while you were asleep. You know, and so that's why the Israelites were told that the cloud when it's over your head, when the cloud is you should tarry when the cloud is over your head, but when it moves, you
Yes,
should rise.
it's self-God.
Yeah, when it rises and start to move, that's the only time you're instructed to move. So what it's telling you is that when you send your imagination to a place, you raise the crowd on the cloud. The cloud was raised and it's gone somewhere, and the body is going to follow. But until you imagine the state of the wish fulfilled, your body cannot move, whether it be 2 days, a month, or a year.
The cloud, you haven't sent the cloud away. The cloud is
You
sitting on
haven't,
you.
it's
The
sitting on
cloud is
top of
sitting
it.
on you, so you
Yeah,
can't go away. You have to
cannot
send
go
it away.
nowhere.
You have to send the cloud away.
You have to send the cloud away, you know. So, and the cloud represents whatever state of consciousness you're in, the dressing, the clothing, the garment that you're wearing at the time. That's what the cloud represents. So when that thing gone off, to the place you sent it, to the father's house, to the mansion, you know, in the father's house. Your body is going to follow. It's going to come back for you and carry you to this place or this experience, you know. And so that's why you're told to imagine wisely, because that cloud your consciousness is going to carry with it, that state of awareness at the time, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. So it's a very brilliant way that the mystics of the time wrote the scripture.
The whole light brilliant. The way it is written, the whole light brilliant. The book is good, brother. If a man can be firm enough in himself, carry the Christian them take a book and make it a freedom book. It's a Christian book it turn into. It was never meant to be no religion no in a book. Anyways,
No.
if a man can firm up in himself and knows that the religious part of it is not a part of it, and start go Bible, not go no church. Yeah, go in the Bible and stay in the Bible, but not go join the church. The Bible is good. It's true. But the reader must know that it is not real. The reader must know that it is not real. It is the same thing with this life where we are live. The life is good. The game of life is good. But the player of the game must know it's a game. Otherwise, I pure foolishness in the other.
Yeah, every player knows that even when you get emotional about the game, win or lose, once it's over, you calm down and
It's just a game.
it's just a game. You remember it was just a game, and you don't jump off a bridge somewhere because you lost. What you do is you use that as fuel, as a lesson. Every loss, as Michael Jordan said, he never loses, he learns. You understand? Every time you don't gain or carry out your desire is a lesson. You take it as a lesson, not a loss or a misfortune. I never like to say it is information. It is telling you you have more work to do. You are not, the law is not fallible. It's infallible. You understand? It's infallible. So the law cannot not do what it is capable of doing if you work it the right way. You understand? It cannot be broken. It is fixed. So you have to work on yourself. If it does not work, it is upon your head, not the law. You understand? It's upon your head. So everything always comes back to you, the one operating the law. We were told that, boy, sometimes God said no. So you can have a better situation.
When God say no? When God say no?
Mm,
When you say no, you're on the outside, the mask where you wear.
yeah.
You're wearing a mask. I pretend that you say yes, but deep in yourself, you tell yourself no.
So you're saying yes outwardly, but inwardly.
Inwardly, you tell yourself no. That's why I know God I say no. And it's the same thing when a yes is because you inside of yourself can't be in yourself say yes.
And it is unfortunate that usually this yes is towards things that you do not desire to happen or experience. But your fear of this thing, is you saying yes, it can happen, Your fear of something is you saying yes.
Yes. By your fear in the thing make it a possibility.
Yeah. That's why you fear, because you see it, you can see it happening. That's why you fear.
Yeah, exactly. You expand the possibility of it happening because you fear it. You ignore a thing and it goes away and it fall away under the weight of its own nothingness, man.
No attention, no expansion.
All right, I'm going to show you a thing. Just I'll show you something. Let's see a woman with afraid of green lizard. And she sit down there, wash her clothes under a tree, and the green lizard there right back her head on the tree. And she did there wash her clothes all the time, and she had no problem. Until she realized a green lizard is there.
Yeah.
Before that, she had no problem, and the lizard had no problem neither. And she go cause the lizard to jump on her. They're screaming and they run up and down. And she go cause the lizard to jump on her.
Yeah.
Then the lizard didn't have a chance to jump on her a long time if me want.
True.
So it's your awareness. Don't waste my friends, don't waste your awareness. We are already not aware for long enough in our awakened hours. We already not remaining in awareness for long enough. But we all go in when you catch yourself in a moment of awareness. What am I talking about? I talk about, you see them angel numbers where you see we post like in a room more time, like you see a man post 1111 333. When you consciously catch that, that's the time on the phone and you're so happy to look on the phone. So you're in a moment, for that moment when you catch the time, say it's 111, or you look on the phone, for that split second there, your attention is nowhere else. Try to hold it there. When you realize that now, so you catch yourself in a moment of awareness, in a moment of consciousness, try to remain there. That's where the inner self is. That's where you find. It's your inner self that just alerted you to look at the phone in that moment. And she said it's 111 now, it's 333. So the inner self is, you're right at the doorway. You're right there with her, right there with him. Try to stay there for a little bit. Something that try to show you. But you're because it can't talk for your ear, and you know nobody for your see. So you're not pay attention. But when it shows you that number, out of the blue, it shows you that number. That's the inner self showing you that, hey, I'm right here. That's a perfect time for you to make your wishes real. Right in that moment. Feel lucky when you see that happen. You know what? Why, oh boy, man. Maybe if they made up money anyway, every time you see 111 or 333 or whatever, you're just looking at your phone, same time the money reach. And people you see how people that tune in with them attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they need to pay you for your attention since you won't pay attention. Since you won't pay attention, maybe they need to pay you for your attention, and you would pay attention that way. Because that's how the self has been talking to you your whole existence, your whole life. It has, but it doesn't talk. Say nothing. It not gonna nudge you or push you or nothing at all like that. It shows you weird signs. Like you have to stand up out and do and here come this dog run across the road. Here come this dog run from people dog from your neighbor across. Here come this dog run across the road from all the way across the road. Come, wall of poop right in front of you. And what you do, you stone the dog and lick down the dog. Why am I standing here to be aware of this right now?
Yeah.
It's your awareness. It's like the self has been trying to talk to your world. You're not paying attention. You have to use dog and dog filth. Forget you have to pay attention. Whatever it is, little moments, use little moments to realize it is It is your, because who else is aware of that just happened? Only you.
Yeah.
So that message, that sign, whatever just happened, when you say 111 on your phone, you alone see it,
Mm-hmm.
You alone see that on your phone, whatever the configuration and numbers on your phone that catches your attention, 444, whatever it is, 345, whatever. It is you are the only one, because that moment is meant for you. Remember, Sir Gira was talking about a moment.
Yeah.
A moment does not have any time calibration on it. A moment can be 5 seconds long, or a moment can be half hour. But when it is your don't miss your moment. When the self nudge you to the point where you realize there's something happening, so how come how me lucky enough to see this? All right, what, Chris? You watch basketball. Have you ever watched the game and you see the ball go up on the hoop and the ball bounce, it bounce on every part of the circumference of the hoop and then drop in, or bounce on every part of the circle and then drop out.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder what is the probability of that ever happening again?
Yeah.
Whenever time you find yourself in a probability moment, it's your moment. It's yourself. It's the awareness trying to get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Says something just happened. Something mystic just happened right this up on a basketball hoop. It is the mystic within you that is dragging your attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's your moment to make your dream come true. Don't miss your moment.
Mm. I like that.
Moment.
Awareness again.
It's all awareness, man. When I say the game name, forget and remember, sleep and wake. The whole game life over there I play. It's made up of, and you're bound to forget, like when you're like how you're bound to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're bound to remember, just like how you're bound to wake up.
Yeah.
You can't sleep forever and you have to wake up unless I did you did. But when you go to sleep, you have to wake up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're awake, you have to go to sleep at some point, because you have to go in and out of this awareness. It's the object of the game.
Mm.
You have to go in and out of this awareness the whole time. The thing is to make the unconscious conscious. Carl Jung says if you don't make the unconscious conscious, it's gonna continue to run your life and you're gonna call it fate. You're gonna say it's just fate that was naturally happening to her. How do you make the unconscious conscious?
You're a field.
Yeah. What is the unconscious? The unconscious is the self. And you are the conscious. The ego is the conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And the unconscious is the self.
Yeah.
How do you make the unconscious, which is the self, conscious? You make the unconscious conscious by acknowledging it whenever time it shows up. Whenever time it shows up in your moment, you acknowledge the self, say, I am aware that it's you. That means that the self, no one else say. You're in tune, you're on to this thing. You can get to a place in awareness where you can summon the self to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
With immediate effect,
Yeah, man.
Like when me did want the rain to stop, me can't stop rain.
But
When we didn't need the rain to stop,
mm-hmm.
it was the ancient higher self that was never born and can never die. When afraid of no rain. Now him, it. When me say me I call him because of myself, and me is a him.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else me talk about and I say him. I'm like a lady me that expect her to call for yourself her. I think a lady want a man self with that. That go work. So we have to be aware. To be in a sense, you're aware of everything out there and aware of yourself. Your awareness starts with self. Anything that you're gonna be aware of that's happening out there, before you're aware of anything, your awareness starts at home first. Big up yourself, myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk to yourself, big up yourself, myself. You know I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that would be that would have been very, productive if we just start with journey like that, just acknowledging the self. It's funny because remember now we have kids these days who we've watched 30 who have come to this realization from
As a kid.
as a child. Yeah, as a child, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, know
And
already.
you, man like Bob Marley and Tupac, the man, the band, the band with the whole of the eye, them wide up, man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Them play the game from very early. Them see why it is because to me find it me that say in a them cycle, in a them last cycle around them it done wake up already. Them it
Yeah.
done wake up in a them last cycle, so them come here as an awakened being. They don't come here blind like all the rest of the man them. We come here blind.
Yeah.
I don't you dare feel like say just one time you pass through this, one time you remember. And whether you're born and you don't even remember when you're born, whether you're gone 1970, whatever, 1960, 40, 50, whatever, whether you're that. You're born and you don't even remember when that happened. So how you going to remember when you leave the last time? You just don't remember.
Yeah.
But you've been coming and going the whole time, just like how since you're there in earth appear coming and going you've been doing. You've been coming and going eternally. You just don't know. Why? Why me can say that confidently? Because you are consciousness and consciousness cannot be quick. Consciousness can't come into being, Consciousness always was. And consciousness cannot go out of style. Consciousness always is.
Yeah.
Consciousness always was and always is and always shall be. Always. So it's not a game where you join in one day, where there was a time when this world did run without you and then you join in. No. Consciousness is an integrated thing. It come as a whole product when it come. You never and something we build up to the thing is just is. There is no not isness to consciousness. You see that?
Eternal.
It is the eternal thing. And that consciousness is what the ancient higher self of man is. The higher self of man is the consciousness that always was and always is. And all you are just one way coming in with it. You come the version of you will come the human version, you will come with the fallibility where you go in and out of consciousness. Yeah. But the great higher self does not go in and out of consciousness. The great higher self is conscious of everything at all time. Remember, you not see. Remember, say the great higher self not see, and it not talk, and it not hear, and it not hear, and it only feel, Feeling is the language of the ancient self. It's the only language it understands. So you can pray like a Paul or whoever you pray, like all you want, as loud as you want, for as long as you want. Ain't nobody hearing you except you. Feel, you talk to the inner self by catching the feeling, whatever you feel like, that inner self feel like. If you're in a mood to have a bad day, then it give you a bad day. Yeah, no problem. It not have a problem being with you right through your bad day.
It's reflecting back to you, So I was giving the information.
No, the mirror is a mirror.
This is your state right now.
Huh?
That's what it's telling you. So this is your state right now.
This is your state right now, and you not argue with you. When the mirror show you a picture, whether you want to agree or disagree, the mirror will never give you no verbal confirmation or no explanation. It is what it is now. And that you see, either like your man take a picture and say, "Me not look good on the picture." The camera take what you see. The camera took what he saw.
Yeah. But watch this.
Yourself good on the camera.
But watch this now. The mirror shows you that the shirt look away or the pants look away. But it's instructing you without doing anything to fix yourself. Imagine that.
Yes.
It does nothing but leaves nothing undone.
Leaves nothing undone. Then the same thing with the self. The self now do not all.
But leaves nothing undone.
And leaves nothing undone. Because it has to be impartial, so it cannot do anything. Anything that you do is gonna have an element of partiality to it. Because you have motive for the way you do, so there goes your partiality immediately. You're always partial to your motive, you know.
Yeah.
All of you, no matter what man I go say impartial. You're partial to your motive, whatever you want. Then you're part there. That's why you go vote for that man because you don't want you don't vote for the next man because you don't want him. And your motive cause the partiality because it is partial. It is a partial thing for vote for your man and not vote for the other man. You know. You're supposed to be fair and vote for it, whatever. I don't vote for none of them like me.
Yeah.
That's all I say. But to vote for your man and not vote for your man, that's partiality.
Yeah. That's choice, you know?
It's choice.
Yeah.
So for the self to remain integrated and whole and holy, the self has to totally stay out tight. And just be a mirror and show you where you are going, and you decide.
My goodness. It's always gonna come back to you deciding certainty, you know?
Right now, my favorite song is a song named Mirror Self. Even this morning, I said to my wife, and she said, "But I haven't heard that one me play," and she said, "Oh, me see why you love it." The name of the song is Mirror Self.
Yeah.
To come out tomorrow.
Right.
And it's what we're talking about right now, but it's a thing that has marveled me. You know. Watch it. You remember when the little boy, when we first see the little boy with your Malachi, where I talk about whispering in the mirror.
Yeah.
How long ago was it that we first started video? Because I think me send it to you first and ask you who in favor, you know, and you tell me say
about 3 years ago.
About 3-4 weeks the most. About 4 weeks the most. All right. You see, since that 4 weeks there? Since that 4 weeks there, brother. 4 weeks ago, me not even think of do no music and none of them is something none of it. 4 weeks ago, me have my next SUV and since I look at boy, they said there's something there. And me get the concept right.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, me talk about since that happened. Car change brand new when me never planned for that none at all. Never in my intention. But that just come and park right where me always see it park.
Yeah.
See them color, see them everything right where me always see it come and park. And music that go out all kind of thing and all kind of something. But that 3 weeks ago there was none of that in the game. The mirror manifestation thing there. And that means a manifest and a manifest. It's an understanding of more the item get out or something.
Possibilities.
It multiplies your possibilities because a whole heap of people see the same thing and I say the same thing now. It's like it's a gang you from. I don't want to call it a gang because it's not it's a gang still. It's a gang to kill your ego.
Yeah.
It's a gang up on the ego. So when you go in the mirror and go within and you're seeing yourself 3-4 different reflections of yourself. Where you are weak, one of them self is strong. Where you now have, one of them self they have it. You understand?
Every possibility of you must exist.
Yes. So when you look at you would say it, I'm looking into it. I'm looking into it and I mean, understand. I get exactly where the first time you say me see it. I knew nothing about it before that. But the first time him say it before he complete the sentence, me see it.
Yeah, man, makes sense.
So, my friends, that thing here, where you come, understand and work it. When we say work it, me means become it. Put in the time and Give yourself to it completely. All you're doing is giving yourself to yourself. You can't go wrong. Give yourself totally unto yourself. You've been giving yourself to the world for your whole life, trying to be the person that the world accepts. Take off the mask. Come back to yourself. Come back to yourself.
Remove the mask.
Yeah, man. Come back to yourself.
Remove the personality. Remove all of the old concept. All those are just masks you're wearing.
Correct. And the personality remains, but just like how I say, when you must identify the self and make yourself realize that I know you're there and I know who you are. Identify the because you have to use the personality. You have to wear the mask. But don't wear it all day. Come to yourself and take off a mask when the screen act is done for the day. And while you're out there wearing the mask, be aware that it's a mask you're wearing and a bad up an next man with, because a mask him a wear too. The man with bad driver down the road. It's just a man in a mask. You'll kill him for.
It still come back to you, no?
Yes.
It still come back to you. You're just experiencing yourself, all the time. It's always a self-expression and recognition, information, like I said, it's information. So you see, like when you're driving your car, you're always doing this, making adjustments, once you get to your destination, If you don't adjust, you're not gonna reach your destination.
You're not gonna reach.
So it's a case of just adjusting. You're gonna you're getting information the entire way, but you're not overreacting. You're just making little small corrections here and there, and the corrections, keep you on the same on the path. It doesn't get you off track. But if you become, discombobulated, deranged, angry, mad, out of control, so to speak, then you're not going to get to where you're supposed to get to. So it's the same thing you're doing with your consciousness, is recognizing when you are off. Like I said, you said control, delete. I've been doing that, since I watched The Secret, not control, cancel, delete.
Yeah, cancel, delete.
Yeah, they taught us how to do that since them time. So I find myself, when I'm in a certain state of awareness, I would cancel, cancel the idea or the thought, so to speak, and it might seem like it doesn't make sense, because it's like, to the conscious mind and to the person who you're telling this, it doesn't make sense. Like, how can you cancel something without pressing a button? Because that's how we teach. That's how we learn. We learn that everything is physical. So you can't delete something other than it on a computer.
But you upload things without pressing a button. See, we do it. You don't know that. You
Right.
upload things and you're not pressing a button. So
You're not pressing a button.
You can delete things without pressing a button. Same way.
Same way. But the thing is, all these things that we're doing, the computer, the telephone, whatever, were made by consciousness. You understand? All these things come from consciousness. So that's why they're doing everything you see you doing operation on something physical. It's all from the mental plane. All of it. This is just the express state.
What is AI? What is AI, Sir Chris? AI is consciousness.
Is consciousness on a digital.
Exactly. Yeah, it's digital consciousness.
Yeah. But it's still consciousness pulling from sources, just like how we pull from consciousness, we be in the conscious mind, pulling from the superconscious at all times, the storehouse, the generator. Everything is coming from there. All these ideas we have, all these desires, they're coming from the storehouse. You understand? Your higher self, they're always there. These are just decisions you're making as you become aware of the thing, whether it be an airplane or a radio or a TV, whatever the person was thinking of at the time or desired at the time, that's coming from the storehouse. So AI is doing the exact same thing, pulling from information that already exists, not from the superconscious, as people are foolishly saying. It's pulling from information that man
Ah,
has already put out there all these years.
they don't man AI there yourself, brother. A
Yeah,
man it has AI is just a AI is just a
a
superman.
Superman.
That's what AI is. AI is a superman who can do everything.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
that's all. It's a more efficient you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a more efficient you. The car is a more efficient you. You can't run faster than a car. Yeah, that's that. It gets you to the destination in
Faster now, you will get
one
there.
tenth of the time, one hundred of the time. You understand? Very quick. Then you can walk or run there. But it is still you in that car that you've multiplied yourself as. So everything is you, no matter how you put it. Everything is you, you know.
You know why everything is you?
Mm-hmm.
If everything did out there
Mm.
and you not there if you be aware of it, does it matter say out there?
It wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist. It wouldn't exist.
It would not exist.
Nothing exists without a witness.
You are the observer. You
And
observe
you
it.
are the observer, you are the witness.
Yeah.
So the only reason why any way you say exists is because you there, you know. If you need the way that was still say that.
The world doesn't exist unless you exist.
Until you're here.
Yeah.
God doesn't exist until you're here.
Yeah.
And since you come here, you come decide say you want a garden.
Yeah. There was no God until you come.
There was none until you come in your world, you don't come here with no God.
Yeah.
You come and see one whole heap and them give you one and you take that one day.
Mm. Well, depending on your location, because some places no subscribe to that. Yeah, that's that.
Hmm.
I just we over here, so our ignorance believe in that and trying to impose it upon the rest of the world to make it a one like one philosophy,
Hmm.
one size fits all, and kind of like the the Israelites going around slaying everybody. You know what I'm saying? I say, is our God or no God, Yeah. That's what the Israelites did in scripture. No
Hmm.
other, no other God but our God.
Yeah, man. If you want to serve for God, will kill you.
To kill you. Yeah. So here we are, doing the same thing, taking it literal, and it's not a literal story.
Well, the good thing about it is that you all are born with a God.
9 billion.
You all are born with one. Keep the one where you're born with. It's called yourself.
9 billion gods,
That
brother.
are the one where you're born with, and when you leave, the one they leave with you when they leave.
Mhm. Yeah. That's your guide, your helpmeet. Your helpmeet.
That self did not left your brother.
Mm.
It's like man and shadow. Where you go?
Yeah, and you get to customize this self.
Yeah. Over the years.
Yeah, if it wasn't so, all of us would have the same thing.
To the point where the self know you more than how you know yourself.
Yeah.
The
You
understand the
would,
self has been with you so long and pick up on your little habits them where you don't even notice.
Mm.
To the point that yourself know you more than how you know yourself.
Right? So you get to customize, you get to choose to decide what color or what purpose you're here for, because within you is your own self, your own I amness, your own awareness of being that is that lay down, lay down for you to use. Anything you desire or decide, it's going with it. No resistance. Just like water. No resistance.
Or resistance.
No, man. Everything is everything is everything. Everything is everything with this with the power that's within you. So as we're saying today, you are the the spirit, you are the life-giving spirit that dwelleth within this temple or tabernacle that was never made by hands. So we wanted to preface that so you acknowledge you are first spirit, you are first the awareness, and you instructed yourself, because the people of Israel is yourself, that you instructed to create this tabernacle. You understand? And it's supposed to be movable, elongated, and in skin, covered with skin.
Sound like a money, man.
It is, man. So like.
No, man. So,
A
a
man.
man is a man that you just described. Anyway, you take it is a man, me I see, brother.
Yeah. You are the temple carrying yourself. It's just a house, you build a house in which to reside. You understand? But you leave the house every day and you go to have an experience and come back. Here you are, your consciousness leave your body every day. Right? And come back. Either voluntarily or involuntarily. You have the power to send your awareness away, and give it instructions. Go here and stay there in the city of Jericho, and don't move until I come.
Yeah.
That's what we did. That's the story we did last week,
Who else can do that to you? Only yourself.
Only yourself.
And yourself alone can stick you up and come on you. You can't move till you come back. When the dreamer goes out there to dream and the body up on the bed, laying down, that body cannot move until the dreamer returns.
Yeah. That's how it go. So for those of you who out there watching this, perish the thought that scripture is real, or scripture is history, or any of these stories told are literal history written down by a man named Moses, writing the Torah. Perish that thought. Okay? These guys no exist, never live. They only live within your consciousness. They are you personified in this book.
So you give Moses them the resurrection and the life.
Yeah.
You give the resurrection and the life. You bring him to life.
Yeah.
And I mean, Moses is a good boy. He gave some stories to talk about where we said, I mean, if there was no Moses to talk about, what would we talk about? But we have to just realize that it's not a real thing. I mean, just see the book for what it is and appreciate the book. The book is good, people. The book is good. The book is just not real. Now start reading the book. Now start reading the book again.
Greatest movie of all time.
Greatest movie of all time. Greatest story ever told. Good, nice. Find the value in it and don't let people use it, devalue you.
Check this out, guys. We are told that the Levites disassembled this tabernacle or temple, whatever, and they're the only ones who could carry it through the desert, and they could not move until the cloud moves, and wherever the cloud went, they would disassemble the tabernacle and join the cloud wherever it descends, and reassemble the tabernacle there. Cannot move until the cloud moves, whether it be 2 months, a year, a month, or a year. I mean, 2 days, a month, or a year, right? And I'm going to post the video actually of this this chapter in the room. I have the video of it. The presentation that Neville gave. And think to yourself now, guys, this instruction I'm looking at here, some of these things weigh, not forget the weight, the height. Some of these things are 15 feet, high, and 40 feet wide, and all these different type of stuff. And you believe some people can carry these things to a desert, disassemble that. Here's what it's made of. It's made of gold, silver, and bronze. And bronze pillars, silver hooks, whatever that means. It is to be, the materials go from bronze, silver to gold. Access, people, priests, high priests. Public, what is it? Mobile layered sacred system, outer, inner core. So it's public interaction, priest service, divine presence. This could never be a real place. It's supposed to be made out of Asia wood, which is supposed to be something that is resistant to decay. Gold is I'm reading the symbolism now. This Asia would represent humanity in its natural state, ordinary, earthy, capable of being used for something sacred. Aren't we being used for something sacred? Right? Gold, divine nature, kingship, purity, incorruptibility. Can't corrupt gold. Right? Wherever gold appears, God's presence is near. Silver, used as base. Money, redemption, exchange for payments. So these things could never be what we were told in the Bible, that they're supposed to be something that literally happened, because the ability to carry all these things is not possible in some wilderness somewhere, reassembling and for 40 years, guys. Like, no, these are all symbolisms that the ancient use, whether that be color, blue, purple, red, white. All these things were instructed to use on the tabernacle. One bag of something, cherubims, all this type of foolishness. And within the temple, it's supposed to be this, till this day we cannot find, the Ark of the Covenant was also in the tabernacle. And the entrance of the tabernacle faced eastward. They're talking about the right side of your head. It's supposed to face to the east, the entrance. Imagine that. Okay, and something be face, always have to face the east. You remove it and reassemble it, and it always have to face the east. It cannot be anything that's stationary. It has to be man. Man can move around and face whatever direction you want to face. But when you're looking north, your head is facing the right side of your head is to the east, where the sun rises. You know, all these things are symbolic and divine writings by these mystics at the time, just to give us instructions to remember. This book is to remember. This book is for remembrance. It is not a book to read and you know, get lost in the stories as really as so-called reality or as history. It is to remind you who you are, you know, and what you're being. We're just being this body, but we're not. It's my body, but it is not me. That's the difference. I'm my body, but it's not me. That's like saying my car is me. I'm my car, but I'm not the car. It's just a vessel that carries me around. Your body is a vessel that carries your consciousness around. Wherever you go, it goes. And wherever you send your consciousness, your body follows. You know, they are one, but the consciousness is greater than the body, greater than the physical. But they remain one. You understand? It's an amazing reality, man. An amazing book, you know, given to man to remember, to know thyself, to become aware of self, and to stop walking in ignorance. You know, so so those are my final words. Gonna sorry T there. Oh, sorry T had to run. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna close off for today. But wonderful lesson. As we said, we're talking about today the tabernacle, the temple, not made by hands. That is us in terms of the flesh state, but who we really are is the spirit that dwells within. And this story I just read, it can be found in the book of Numbers. That explains, the specifics of this tabernacle. When you read it, if you ever get a chance, you will see that these things are does not make any sense on the surface level. You have to go below the surface for it to make sense. All right. Nobody can walk around for 40 years with all these heavy things on their heads or wherever they carry them for 40 years and disassemble, reassemble. Foolishness. Okay. Perish that thought. It has to be something far deeper than what we're reading on the surface. Okay. It couldn't happen. And by the way, Moses, who died at some point before seeing the promise after seeing the promised land, also wrote Deuteronomy. Also wrote a book wherein he was already dead. So it cannot be reality. It cannot be real. It's almost like you as an author writing a play or a movie, and you're in the movie, because we've seen actors in movies who are the writer of the movie. Somebody like a Spike Lee acting in his own movie, but wrote himself out of the movie. And died at some point in the movie, but he wrote the movie. And we know it. But he wrote himself out of it. He was not the main character, but he's the one who wrote the movie or produced it and whatever the case may be. No, that is a man writing a fiction, obviously. So the only way you can write your own obituary or your own death in the Bible or any book is if it is fiction. meaning that what you're writing about has never happened. It's not history. It's some kind of mystery or drama, as movies are termed drama, that you wrote and wrote yourself in it and out of it. But you wrote all of it. But if we were to believe this thing is history, how can somebody who died before this book was finished write the book that came after he died? It makes no sense. Unless it was not written by Moses. It was written by individuals or an individual who used those names as characteristics or personifications in the book. No? That's the only way it makes sense. When we were coming up as kids, we did not know these things. We didn't know the specifics. We were just repeating what we were told. But when you study, you show yourself approved that nothing that we read or was told were what the book intended. We took the message, the messenger as the message. We took the book as the message rather than what the book was trying to tell us as the message. We took the words as the message. No, it's not the words as the message. It's what is in between, that lies beneath. That's the message. You have to read in between the lines, as they say. All right. So, but we use these messages or these stories to help us create our life. So we're not only reading the scripture or teaching from it from a religious spectrum or viewpoint, as in to wake up and find ourselves in heaven and so that when we die, we don't go to hell. No, that's not what this program is for. We're not into any of that foolishness. This is for us as we are living here on this planet, as the book was intended, written for us to help us to guide. It's a book of instructions as how to live, not how to die or what happens after you die. If anything, is what to do before you die, so that you can live your best life or have a purposeful life, I should say. So it's not intended for no religious purpose. Okay, this is just to help you to navigate how to create, how to call forth things into beings intentionally and stop doing it unintentionally or in ignorance and creating all this chaos within your life. All right. So we just use these scriptures because that's what they were intended to do, to help us navigate consciousness. All right. So with that said, we're going to call it right here. And we'll see you guys again next week with another lesson from Never Gathered to help us to continue this journey of awakening. All right. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Until we meet again. Love you guys. Over and out.